Hello, everyone. Welcome to this channel. This is Burgeoning as Ruth. I wanted to make this channel because I want to create a platform for like-minded young Black women like myself, someone who is in their early 20s, someone who is just now essentially adjusting to adulthood. I am learning about life. I'm in school. I'm trying to get my education. While at the same time, I'm learning more about being a woman. I'm learning more about being a Black woman, someone who is brown skinned, someone who is sometimes on the receiving end of colorism, of texturism, featureism, and someone who is trying to disperse from or diverge from, the stereotypical path in which I am notoriously around or ubiquitously around. It's everywhere. The stereotypes of how young Black women should be, how they should conduct themselves when it comes to dating and just certain looks, all of that jazz. And so I want to create a platform where we can dare to be different, right? And we can dare to encourage each other to be better, encourage each other to have higher standards for ourselves, higher standards for the people that we surround ourselves with, including who we date, including our friends, and really just bring things from a Christian perspective. If you kind of want to know more about what I would like to make this channel about, you can go to the About section on the channel, and I have written a brief section or a brief paragraph about what it's essentially about, and I will talk more about Ruth, who is a woman in the Bible, later on, and how she's kind of my inspiration and kind of how she really set a precedent for femininity, for being a better person, for really just being a woman who had God's favor on her. Okay, so thank you for listening to the first 2.5 minutes of this introduction, and I want to go ahead and get into the topic because I want to have this first video be something that sets the tone for what I'm about, what this channel is about. And the title, I must admit, is hyperbolic, but I wanted to do that to kind of bring your attention to it while also making it very clear where I'm coming from. So, true femininity is not about scamming men. And the reason why I am talking about this is because on my femininity journey, I have included watching videos on YouTube and listening to podcasts and listening to different women speak on femininity and growth and how it can be used to attract certain men, how it can be used to get a bag, how it can be used to get what you want out of men. And I kind of feel as though this narrative is, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit disappointed in it because I don't understand how something as beautiful as femininity can really be so male focused and kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be blunt, comes off as selfish. It's something that's so beautiful, yet I'm hearing so much of, yeah, do this, wear this wig, dress like this, wear this kind of makeup, sound like this, so you can get your bag, so you can attract a lawyer or a doctor or a businessman and, get that bag so he can do this for you and take you on trips and do this and do that. And it just comes off as so disingenuous and so insincere. And it really makes me question, what is the point in you starting this femininity journey just to be so plastic? And trying to come off as judgmental. These are just my thoughts. I feel as though every woman should find their purpose, and if a woman wants to kind of use femininity to go that route, then sure, that's her. No judgment, no judgment. I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm coming from a place of, I just wish that narrative was not spread so much. It can be an option, but I just kind of feel like it also doesn't make sense to spread the narrative of be disingenuous about femininity just to get a man. But the men you're attracting, that we're talking about attracting, are lawyers, doctors, and businessmen. If you're going to go that route and be plastic about it, then I suggest maybe going the sugar baby route, to be honest. Because lawyers, doctors, and businessmen are real men. And they want genuine women. So the act of being feminine just for the sake of doing it to attract a certain man and to get a bag I just don't feel like that's really, like, that makes sense for the type of man you're wanting to attract. It doesn't. And so what I would like to speak about is, I believe that if you start a femininity journey, that journey should be stemmed from wanting to become a better person, to want to be a servant to people, to want to be more beautiful on the inside as well as the outside. Because when I think of a truly feminine woman, I think of a woman who is kind and who's sweet and has confidence about herself and takes care of herself and also takes care of other people, not to the extent where she is tiring herself out, not to the extent where she is giving from an empty cup. I'm not saying that, but she is just an overall very kind and genuine person, and her motive is not to scam men. Now, I also want to make it very clear that there is nothing wrong at all with including wanting to attract higher quality men as a part of your femininity journey. There's nothing wrong with that. That is not what I'm saying. That is definitely what I keep in mind as well. I dress a certain way not only for myself, but also because I don't want to attract dusty men. I want to attract men who are on the same wavelength as myself, because I feel as though there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But for that to be your sole purpose in femininity, I just feel as though you're not reaping the full benefits of it. And to try to go against what is being spread so often nowadays, which is a lot of times the opposite of femininity, especially for Black women, especially for brown skin and dark skin Black women, where they don't want us to be feminine. It's difficult. It's hard. And so if you're not on the journey for real reasons, if you're not on the journey for yourself, to want to have a confidence about yourself and want to be a better person for yourself, that's a difficult journey to embark on. So I would just like to encourage women to start their femininity journey and to be on their femininity journey for themselves, while also keeping in mind that, hey, a side effect of this is, or even a goal of this, can be to attract a higher caliber man. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. So I just I want to steer away from the dark femininity, the seduction part. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel beautiful, for wanting to feel like a woman, for wanting to feel sexy, and to feel like, hey, like, God made me beautiful. I have some seductive qualities about myself. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with admitting that. Nothing wrong with embracing that. But to use it in such a Jezebel dark way, you don't have to go that route. You don't have to go that route. Esther in the Bible moved mountains by being feminine, but without being dark about it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I actually encourage you to read the book of Esther. I also encourage you to read the book of Ruth. Both of them shouldn't take you any more than 20 minutes because they're both very short books. But if you want to know what I'm talking about with those characters, I suggest you read them. But that is all I wanted to say. I kind of said, or really reiterated, the same thing throughout the video, but I just wanted to really just stamp that in the ground of where I'm coming from and what I believe, and just also encourage women to really think about, why am I doing this? Why am I listening to these videos? Why do I want to dress a certain way? Why do I want to come off a certain way? Why do I want to have a certain presence or a feminine aura? Because if it's coming from a selfish place, selfishness is not feminine. Scamming men, yeah, I'm gonna get this bag from this man, yeah, I scam him out. That's not feminine. It's really not. Being disingenuous is not feminine. So that's all I had to say. And listen, I'm not coming from a place of pointing the finger, because if I point that finger, I will have 4 pointing right back at myself, because I was almost on that boat. When I first started listening to these things, a lot of these YouTubers were feeding me half of the pie, giving me half of the recipe, and I focused just on that part without working on my inner. And so I was kind of getting sucked up into that mentality, and I realized not everybody does this, not every woman does this, and that's honestly kudos to you. That's great. But this video is for the women. It's for anybody to listen to, but specifically geared towards the women who are on this journey, who might be listening to certain people who are giving them femininity tips and advice, but from a place that's just so dark. And I think that femininity is a lot more beautiful than that. It has so many more benefits than just getting a bag. I really do. I really do. So I just want to put that out there. And anybody who listens to this, please comment. I want this to be a dialogue. You don't have to agree with everything I said. And like I said, I'm not bashing YouTubers who talk about this, because it's really not everybody. But I do feel like a lot of people who are known or might be popular, or, regardless of that, might be spreading a narrative that I feel as though, it could be better. It really could be. So that's all I'm saying. Please comment. I want to make this a community. So if you have anything that you liked that I said, anything that you agree with, disagree with, doesn't matter. Comment below, like, share, subscribe, so we can make this a community. And if you have anything else that you would like me to speak on, I have a lot of things I actually want to speak on, but if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And so, yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day.